Hey guys, I'm Nathan from Harrison Audio, and in this video, we're going to look at the DrumFlow plugin. The DrumFlow is an all-in-one drum processing solution for kicks, snares, and samples, and it contains Harrison's unique character processing as well as 32 CEQ that was used on legendary albums. All 6 sections are reroutable, so you can define the sound of your drums for each part of your song. So I know for a fact that these drums were recorded in a garage. They didn't have the best mic pre's, the best microphones, and the sounds are a little subpar. So we're going to see what this DrumFlow can do for our tracks. So let's hear our drums first. So the drums aren't horrible, but I can hear some things I might want to tighten up a little bit. So let's add our DrumFlow plugin to our kick drum by going to Harrison Audio and DrumFlow. And let's just hear the kick drum by itself. So the first thing that I hear, there's a lot of bleed into the kick drum mic from the snare and other elements. So let's use our gate to help clean that up. So depending on where our slider is, we can use the depth knob to give it more depth or less depth, depending on that relationship between how loud the signal is and where the threshold is. So for this example, we want to have the whole time down pretty low. So that way we just really clamp down on that gate. All right, so let's hear it with the plug-in off. And with the plug-in on. We can also dive in a little bit deeper with the gate and engage the sidechain filter. This is going to really help us focus on a certain frequency range that only the kick will live in, and it'll cut out all the higher frequencies from the snare and cymbals. So now that we've isolated the kick a little bit more from the rest of the kit, we can now look at the drum character, and this actually allows us to EQ the attack separately from the tail of the hit. So all we do is just start bringing down the threshold so we know we have some signal going through, and then we can adjust our attack and tail sliders to focus just on the sound that we want. So there's an EQ for our attack. Now let's start working on the tail. Now the tail is where the resonance of the shell of the kick drum is going to come from. So we can really mess around and find where that resonance lives and accentuate that. And here it is with the plug-in off. So there's a little back in the mix. And here it is with it on. So we've really filled out the sound where it was before. And now let's look at the signal generator. This is going to help us get even more low end if we feel like we really need it. So as we turn it on, we have presets for kick and snare, and we can make this be a sine wave, a white noise. We can also have internal or external inputs as well. So it's like adding a sidechain so you can have other sounds being triggered every time the kick drum hits. But we'll leave it on sine wave for now and just start bringing down the threshold slider. Here it is with it off. And here it is with it on. So that reminds me of an 808 kick kind of sound. So now you can incorporate that into any song, and you can mess with the wet dry parameters on this. So you can over accentuate it if you want, or you can dial it back. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the compressor. Now the compressor has your typical ratio, attack, release, and makeup parameters. And for this kick track itself, it's pretty consistent. So I'm just going to knock off a little bit of the peaks. Now at the bottom of the plugin window, we have our filters and our 32C channel EQ. And this is great for dialing in your kick drum sound and taking out some more frequencies based on the rest of the kit and how everything sits together. Here's with the plugin off. And with the plugin on. So now looking at the signal generator on the snare, we can introduce some white noise. And when blended in with a little bit of taste, we can really make our snare pop. So let me over exaggerate the sound a little bit so you can hear what it does. So that may be too much snare for what we need, so we can blend that back in. So here's the snare with the full kit with the generator off. And with it on. We can add some compression to the snare to really hone in on the sound. And here it is with the full kit. And now let's use the drum character to add a little bit of crack to the snare. So we're going to boost some attack frequencies and cut out some of that low rumble on the tail. Here it is with the plug-in off. And the plug-in on. And now that we have the kick and snare dialed in, let's hear it with the rest of the band.